Now on WKRG News 5.
Interstate 10 shut down for hours today. We're learning about a standoff in Mississippi.
I was like, then I saw the tire bouncing. Then I saw the car.
A Mobile police officer injured trying to make an arrest, leading to a dramatic chase. What we know about the suspect.
A family who lost it all in a house fire, making an emotional plea for help.
WKRG News 5 starts right now with breaking news.
Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Albrecht.
And I'm Devin Walsh. Thanks for joining us tonight. We begin with breaking news. A police officer hit by a car, sparking a chase through Mobile.
The driver of that car now in custody after the chase ended in Tolmanville.
News 5's Brianna Hollis is on the scene to tell us more. Brianna?
Well, Pete, Devin, you can still see the remnants of the end of that crash here. Look at how torn up this grass is. The car pulled through here, and this is where it stopped, leading officers on that short foot chase. And this is at the intersection of Coyman and Strange Streets. But this all started about a quarter mile away at the Quick Pick convenience store in the corner of St. Stephen's and Seal. And police say an officer was there when he recognized a man with active warrants. And as the officer was getting out of his cruiser, police say the man backed up, hitting the officer and drove off, sparking that police chase that did end up here at this intersection, sparking this heavy police presence. And witnesses say that white car just came plowing through.
I was coming out the street because I just came from the stove. So, like, I was coming on the street and all of a sudden, I bent down because I saw something sitting there and I heard, I was like, then I saw the tire bouncing. Then I saw the car and I was like, oh, Lord, somebody didn't think it was a high-speed chase.
Now, the officer in this case, thankfully, only has a minor leg injury and was able to be treated on the scene here, did not have to go to the hospital. And at this point, police are not releasing the name of the suspect or telling us what warrants were out for him. Reporting live in Tolmanville tonight, Brianna Hollis, WKRG News 5.
All right, thanks, Brianna. 5-hour standoff bringing traffic to a stop on Interstate 10 today in Jackson County, Mississippi.
We brought you live coverage of the standoff on the WKRG Facebook page. Many of you watched it unfold as it happened.
And police have just identified the suspect in the standoff, Michael Mack, the driver of an 18-wheeler, in custody tonight facing a felony charge. We know that EMS workers in Mobile County tried to pull him over after he ran into their ambulance, apparently on purpose. Investigators say he then hit 3 cars, and that's when the chase began.
News 5's Mary Smith has been following this story since 10 o'clock this morning. And Mary, what have we learned?
Well, Mississippi Highway Patrol tells us that the driver of that Paschal Truck Lines 18-wheeler randomly came to a stop out here at the 59-mile marker westbound on I-10. They say that that's when he barricaded himself in that truck. He had a machete, but never actually threatened law enforcement with that weapon. Dozens of law enforcement surround a Paschal Truck Lines 18-wheeler on the side of I-10.
The truck was not stolen, so it is believed that he works for an 18-wheeler company.
Mississippi Highway Patrol saying it came to a rolling stop at the 59-mile marker just west of Gaucher. The driver barricaded himself in the truck with a machete inside.
He had black blinds that covered all the windows, so it was difficult for us to see him inside the truck.
Law enforcement say the man was on the phone with Jackson County deputies, hoping he'll surrender. Responding officers even deployed tear gas to coax him out. Eventually, it works, and he's taken to the ground.
The 18-wheeler came in contact with 3 other vehicles on his way between Alabama and the area of the pursuit ended.
But no injuries.
Correct, no injuries overall.
Meanwhile, traffic was shut down in both directions, causing backups for 5 long hours.
We were on our way off of an exit ramp onto the interstate, and these police cars were flying by us.
Tammy Ragsdale and her 80-year-old mother were headed to a Bible study. What should have been an hour drive from Grand Bay to Gulfport turned into a 5-hour ordeal.
Well, I'm glad he's okay. I really am, because, you know, now he's going to have a chance to be rehabilitated. Whatever's going on with him, he's going to have a chance to get help.
And we contacted that trucking company. A spokesperson tells us that they're working closely with law enforcement, and they will not confirm or deny that Mack is an employee with the company. Live tonight from I-10 with photojournalist Jason Garcia, I'm Mary Smith, WKRG News 5.
Thanks, Mary. We told you about the story first on the News 5 app. We'll send you daily headlines that you need to know about. It's all free, so go ahead and download the app. It's available for most platforms.
Well, right now, traffic is back to normal in the Wallace Tunnel in Mobile, but a short time ago, that was not the case. A truck crashed in the westbound lanes inside the tunnel. This was the scene about an hour and a half ago. You can see traffic backed up, stopped for close to an hour. News 5's Dana Winter joins us in Mobile as things are back to normal. Thank goodness, Dana.
Yeah, that's right, Devin, especially as we're getting into the rush hour here on the causeway. We saw traffic backed up for quite a ways. Luckily now all that traffic is gone. Earlier, though, both the causeway and I-10 were at a standstill due to that overturned vehicle in the Wallace Tunnel's westbound side. The Wallace Tunnel was closed, and so I-10 backed up. Many people looking to get around the traffic deciding to take the causeway, which also got backed up, but this backup was due to the amount of cars trying to find a way around the accident. There is no official word just yet on what caused the accident or the condition of the people who were involved. Reporting live on the causeway in Mobile, Dana Winter, WKRG News 5.
All right, time now to talk about the weather. When you see what's going on around the country, we can't complain at all about what we have here today.
I know we had some nice sunshine. It kind of warmed things up just a little bit. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Alan Seals.
Good sunshine. Tomorrow will be like today, except it'll be milder. And in between, tonight will not be as cold as it was last night. Already changes in the air in a positive direction. Battleship Memorial Park on our Alpha Skycam, 47 degrees. We still have that north wind and we still have the dry air, so we're not worrying about any wet weather. We're not worrying about snow. We're finding 47 degrees in Wilmer, 49 in Calvert. Bromley's at 46 degrees. The trend, of course, temperatures slide down this evening, but notice, unlike last night, before sunrise, most of us, if you are along or south of I-10, most of us will stay above freezing. Yes, it's going to be lower 30s. There will be a chill. Inland communities will still dip into the 20s, but we're talking a light freeze inland. Once we're past tonight, though, temperatures begin moving up. We've got 2 nice dry afternoons, and then we're talking about some wet weather for the weekend. Here are your low temperatures later tonight. Notice 33, Pascagoula, Gulf Shores, 37. Compare that to Jay and Calvert at 30 degrees. I'll talk more about the weekend forecast and the prospect for rain in just a few minutes.
A man's been arrested after police say he crashed through a fence at the Pensacola International Airport. Police say Zane Carlson then did donuts on the runway and inside a hangar. News 5's Cody Long has more from the airport on what happened.
Police say the man came speeding here onto airport property. You can see the skid marks here, and then he went crashing through the fence onto the runway. Just before 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, a man drove this blue Mustang onto runway 8, going 100 miles an hour. Eventually, he got out of his car. Sergeant Maria Landy found him running from the airport property and quickly arrested him. She talked to us about what happened.
He got into the grass, was trenching it, and then went back into, it wasn't Sky Warriors, it's a PAC hangar.
Okay.
And then was doing the donuts in the PAC hangar.
Pensacola police charging him with trespassing and criminal mischief, and more charges are expected. We're told there were no planes on the runway at the time. We don't know his motive, but he had no weapons on him, and police don't think that alcohol was involved. We will continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as soon as we get them. In Pensacola, Cody Long, BKRG News 5.
A man on Alabama's death row says the state is violating his rights by requiring a Christian chaplain be in the execution chamber during his lethal injection next week. 42-year-old Dominique Ray is requesting a Muslim imam stand in the chamber instead. Ray killed a 15-year-old girl in Selma in 1995. Up to this point, the warden at the prison has refused his request. Traditionally, a corrections official and the prison chaplain are in the execution chamber. There are currently 176 people on Alabama's death row.
A family in Mobile trying to get back on their feet after a fire tore through their home just weeks after moving in. The video you see here shows the family emotional moments after the fire. Now they're hoping that people can help. News 5's Chad Petrie has their story.
I'm standing in the middle of what once was a home, and as you can see behind me, it is still quite a mess here. The family that lived here is still struggling to put things back together. About 2 weeks ago, on January 18th, this home caught fire on Bonnet Hill Circle in Mobile. All the family members who lived here made it out unharmed, but they lost everything. Ingrid Rivers says she's been living in a hotel since then and says she needs help to get back what they lost.
When you go through a lifetime of like endeavors and you have things that you go through in life and you begin to work so hard for something. I've been paying on the house for 4 months. We only lived in it for 2 weeks, and for it to blemish and in flames the way that it did, that's the hardest thing ever. When you begin to get somewhere for your family to live and you don't have anything anymore.
Firefighters say it appears the blaze started in the kitchen. Coming up later today on News 5, we talk more with the homeowner and how this loss has impacted her and her family. In Mobile, Chad Petrie, WKRG News 5.
New at 5 o'clock, the Alabama Department of Education asking for more money for school safety. The goal, an additional $30 per student. The state superintendent says the money would be used for locks, cameras, and other options, including mental health programs. If approved, it would be included in the state budget for the next fiscal year. The 2019 legislative session begins on March 5th. Last year, lawmakers voted to allow schools to use a state technology fund to pay for school resource officers. There were more than 3,000 school threats made nationwide in the 2017-2018 school year, according to the Educators School Safety Network. That's a 62% jump from the academic year before. 39% of the threats involve social media.
Mississippi could tighten its regulation of tinted windows. Right now, people with sensitivity to sunlight may get a doctor's note to allow for darker tint. Legislators are discussing removing that exemption. The bill would also let smaller police departments write tickets for vehicles with window tint that's too dark. Current law bans such tickets in cities with fewer than 2,000 people. The bill is now on the House floor in Mississippi. The current tint law states windows must allow more than 28% of light in.